Welcome to Adrift in Aldhalor, our weekly actual play D&D show, set in our homebrew world of Aradune. Our music is licensed through Musicbed.com, and occasionally we use Ambience from Syrinscape. Although not usually for this show, but in other shows we do use it. I'm going to bring Shannon in now. Say hi.
Hi. Hello. Hello, everyone.
Shannon, I said get your burps out before we go live.
I didn't burp. I had to clear my throat.
Shannon, you got any information for us?
Boy, do I ever. Yeah. I'm going to talk about our partners. That's the word. That's the word. Who make Paradice what it is. Starting with Arcane Spectacles. I got a question for you, friends. Do you want to elevate your TTRPG and D&D gaming setup? Yes? Well,
and
then.
How?
I'll tell you how. Showcase your dice collection with pride using Arcane Spectacles' personalized dice display. With options ranging from 1 to 5 shelves, each one custom engraved with the name of your dice set or character, it's the ultimate way to show off your collection. Sturdy construction and a unique touch of personalization make this display a must-have for any serious gamer. Upgrade your setup today and roll for the ultimate gaming experience with Arcane Spectacles, and visit them at arcanespectacles.com. Next, we have Underground Oracle Publishing. They are a best-selling, Emmy-nominated TTRPG publisher building new and exciting settings for the cipher system of every genre you can imagine. Each setting includes everything you need to explore its unique world, including lore, species, descriptors, foci, creatures, ciphers, artifacts, and all of the rules that you need to play. For as little as $3, you can join their Patreon and help shape each of the worlds that they create. Last but not least, we've got Eddie Yorke. He is our character artist, and he's an illustrator based in the UK who makes art for games and books. You will see our character art scrolling on the screen momentarily. To visit his portfolio and get in contact with him, visit eyorke.com. If you haven't already, please join us on Discord. We've got recaps that Sean writes. They're amazing and a very amazing way to catch up on the previous week's session. We've also got some other channels where you can jump in and have some conversations with the cast members and all the other lovely folks in Paradise. Our VODs are not up to date yet. I'm working on it. I got 2 weeks left in the school year, and then I'm going to just do a lot of that. It's going to be great. So you can view what we do have on our YouTube channel by visiting us on YouTube or clicking on the links in our Discord. And then you can join us on Bluesky, Twitch, Twitter /X, YouTube, Discord, Instagram, and TikTok.
Yay! You did.
Yay! Thanks. I did it.
Alrighty. Let's bring the boys
in. Most of them. We're missing one. So sad.
That's true. That's true. Let's jump into our recap. And I actually wrote it this week. I do have to catch up on the recaps also. All right. Last we left off, Iron and Mana planned their next move after Jacquette's party and the attempted assassination on his life. They decided it was important to send a message to the De Leon brothers that there are consequences for coming after Iron and Mana. Part of this plan was also to address Jacquette's issue of the official from his brother's company coming to collect him, to bring him home. The idea was to present the De Leons as captives to the Commodore when she is meeting with Ahmed, this official, to show why Jacquette is important to the city and why he should be allowed to stay. But first, some of the party members had rendezvous with others about town. Jacquette met with Reardon, his hired man in the city. Reardon reported that the De Leons were quiet this morning. The two of them discussed the nature of crime and politics in Haven and the Commodore's role in the whole picture. Oddly enough, it was a moment of growth in their friendship. if you can call it that now, between Jacquet and Reardon, even though Jacquet the entire time was disguised as an elven traveler. Elsewhere, Septimus met up with his friend Hal, a fellow worshipper of Machina, to check in on his well-being, as the man had hurt himself with some illegal substances he had acquired from Halcyon, thinking they would open his mind to the Machina's whispers. The man was restored by Septimus's restoration spell, but in his renewal, he is almost in a manic state. Septimus charged him with starting the good work of a new temple dedicated to Machina's whisper, and to investigate purchasing the old ruined temple that the party had cleared out of evil spirits. Finally, Fearn met up with Odwin at the outer business. He attempted to persuade her to a better life without crime, for the betterment of the outer business and for just a general freer life. But she remained unconvinced that her life would be any better if she were to go straight, as you would say. But she said she was open to Fearn changing her mind. The next morning, the party awoke and hatched their plan to confront the De Leons. They decided to not inform the Commodore before this endeavor, but the plan was for Jacquet to approach as LaRue to hit them with his sneezing and coughing powder by surprise, while Sass would sneak into their home to set it ablaze, although I think that was just her plan. I don't think the party necessarily was in on setting the place on fire, partially because her patron told her in her head that she should set their place on fire. But the rest of the party would await either for danger or a signal from Jacquet to attack, capture the De Leons, and then they would deliver them to the Commodore as prisoners. Ultimately, the plan did not go as they sought. First, the De Leons hired the smuggler Sam and his crew as protection. So their plan to outnumber 2 Leonins was quickly thwarted by these guardians. Second, these protectors spotted Saskia's footprints and were put on alert. Third, Jacquet's powder failed to incapacitate the enemies and backfired on him. These oversights led to an all-out brawl in the courtyard and alleyway, a deadly one at that. Sam's crew proved formidable, as did Andres and Alberto. Iron and Mana fought hard, but Iron and Mana failed. And the cost of this was Septimus's life and the humiliation of retreating. But the De Leon brothers treat potential friends with kindness, so they fronted half the cost of resurrecting Septimus. A kindness or another act of humiliation. The party fled back up the alley with their friend's body. A dead Septimus, an unconscious Bruce, and a wounded Fearn. Truly, Iron and Mana failed in this endeavor. We left off there as they quickly hurried away to safety with their friends' bodies. Iron and Mana. I believe it's Jacquet and Sass who are conscious at this point.
And I had cast levitate on Fearn, I think,
Yes.
and I was pulling him along like a balloon.
Yes, Fearn is levitating. You're cradling Bruce.
I'm cradling Bruce, and Sal is
Sal's carrying
Septimus.
Are we still within like 120 feet of the De Leon's place?
Not visually.
Okay, never mind. That's fine.
Could be your third attempt at setting their house on fire.
No. Yes, maybe. So I don't remember if we figured out where we needed to go for Septimus. All they said was go to the temple district, right?
Yeah, they said when they threw the diamonds to, they said that you probably should go check out the temple court.
Temple court. Yep.
I mean, right now, it's just the two of you. Everyone in the alleyway is staring at you as you've walked out back into Crass Alley. All eyes on you at this point. People were waiting at the end because they could hear the commotion. So there's just sort of like quiet observers. There's a few people snickering. Some people looking on disappointedly or with judgmental looks. But many are watching you.
Jacques is just, muscling past people, just going, yeah, that's right. Iron and Mana has lost. The blight of crime on this city is too strong even for us heroes. And we must know when to retire for the day. Please make way. We have injured and dead companions that must seek a healer. Move aside. He's just kind of like, muscling through, pushing people aside as he's holding Bruce.
There are people, like I said, there's some snickering, some judgmental looks, there are a few people who look like genuinely upset as they see you walking through. There's basically no one who doesn't know who you are in the city now, unless they're traveling in from somewhere else. But anyone who's lived here while you've been active knows who you are. And for anyone who maybe had a little glimmer of hope for the reformations of the Commodore, seeing you all walking through the streets, a dead party member, 2 unconscious, would be significantly upsetting. Especially for anyone who may have looked up to you in some ways. Many of the folks here probably have neutral to negative opinions of you since they are from the crime part of the city. But this is also somewhat of an impoverished part of the city. So some of them are just people trying to survive who would absolutely be upset at the sight of you. You might even hear a few people crying as they see, or crying out, or some people running up and like not sure what to say to you, but like just sort of like offering sympathies. You see a young teenager comes running up with this ragged looking potion of healing that he's probably been keeping for an emergency, just sort of silently offering these things to you.
I was gonna say, I'm following behind with fear, and as people are coming up, I'm also seething, just very, very angry.
And real quick, even like Fear, and like as you're dragging Fear in this way, like there's people just coming up and just like putting their hands on his shoulder, like just sort of a tribute almost. As even people who might not have a great opinion of Iron and Mana, who just see Fear as a champion, as someone who is strong, honorable, viewed as someone respectable within the tougher side of the communities. But there are just some people, especially as you get closer to the main street and out of the heart of Crass Alley.
I would just be saying, echoing Jacques, just move aside unless you have something that could help. Please move aside. We have to move quickly. Does that person have a potion of healing that we can take? Great.
Mm-hmm.
I will take that and just say thank you. And I will shove it into Fearn's mouth.
Okay. Fear, and you gain 7 health, and you wake up.
Oh, shit! Where are they?
We're moving on. We've got to get
Moving
Septimus.
on.
We've got to
You
get
just hear
Septimus.
from in front, you just hear Jacques going, "We lost Fjern.
Get me
Iron
down
Mana
from here.
lost."
Fear, and
Try
give
to
me
swim over.
Fear, and give me a Constitution saving throw, Fian.
Okay. I rolled a 1, which is a 10.
Fionn, you feel incredibly nauseous and sick to your stomach as this healing potion was. It got you up, but it was bad. So Fionn, you start to try to swim to Jacques, but then you just kind of drop your feet and hit the ground. You're still technically levitating, but you just come to your knees and feel like you're going to throw up with how nauseous you've become from this potion. So you will considered poisoned for the next hour.
Oh, no.
As we get further out and are getting into more, I'll say, polite areas of society, where people are seeing us and maybe there's larger crowds, Jacques will be, still yelling out, almost lamenting in his own way, and just being like, "See, this is what happens when you have a calloused bitch leading you. The Commodore has crime just under her nose and does nothing. Decades of crime has led to this. Your only adventuring party, the only people that want to stand up, beaten down." Jacques continues to sow these seeds of anti-Commodore propaganda, is what it is. It's straight up what it is.
Yeah. And certainly there are crowds whispering as you pass by. People do gather somewhat, especially since you are so publicly lamenting. It is calling probably more attention than would have been called to you. But people are hearing your words. Whispers are moving through. The rumor mill is wrenching up with these statements. As some people shake their head, others might sort of tisk and walk away, and some seem to be following you, listening to every word you're saying.
Jacques, would you just shut up?
And with that, Jacques stops. You hear he's almost mid-sentences. He's like, "Make way,
Please,
As you-
everyone. Sorry, go ahead.
Just head down continues.
Move aside. If anyone has an extra potion of healing, we need one more. Please.
Sass, roll me a persuasion roll.
Natural 1 for a 5.
This is less so your fault and more so that there's a bystander effect happening where the more you say anybody, somebody, nobody helps. As they say in real life, you should point at someone and say, "Come help." But right now it's just everyone's looking to each other, somewhat scared too. They don't know the context of why you're dragging an unconscious Bruce and a dead Septimus through the streets. You could hear people whispering, "So is the city under attack? Is there a monster?" But people are genuinely starting to just get scared seeing an adventuring crew walk through beaten. Because it's not just that, it's Sass, you took some hits too. You look beat up. You look beat the fuck up. The only one of you who looks relatively okay is Jacques, because he was hidden for the fight.
Choking.
Right. Yeah. So if anything, Jacques just looks ragged from choking and whatnot. He doesn't look injured, but you're bleeding still. You were still caught up. You took some arrows throughout that. So where are you all heading?
Temple District.
Okay. All right. So you can take, once you're in the out of Crass Alley and in the polite area for a little bit, you would take a hard left to go down the stairs and path to lead to the temple court at the base of the basalt cliffs.
And I think Jacques would make a beeline towards. Is there a temple to Zendario, the Everflame?
1 moment. Let me pull up my temple.
I know there's
court.
one to Illuvania, but that was last campaign.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna make friends with new gods.
Zendara was last campaign too. Kind of.
Yeah, Zendara was still a big part of
Yeah, no Zendariel hate in this room. Maybe you can a little bit.
She's a nice lady.
Oh. One moment. Let's see. We have the Reverie of Ro, the Sept of the Moon, Kindred of the Mother, Nildori Collective, those beyond, those before, and yes, the Everflame has a church here.
So I think that's who Jacques might think to be the best for raising the dead.
Okay.
Farron, do you want to walk, or do you need me to keep carrying you? I can't hear you. Speak up.
I could walk.
Great. I will dispel levitate.
Yeah, I go, like, when you first put me down, I go down to my knees, and you could see me, like, clenching my teeth as I stand up and try and push forward. And you
don't
can
have
see
to.
I'm not like looking at her. I'm just keeping my eyes forward towards where we're headed, and like I'm sweating, but I'm like pushing forward.
I get it. It's pride. If you want to break, tell me. I'll carry you.
No response.
And as we get closer, Jacques will just start calling out if he starts to see like priests, clergy around the temple. Please, anyone. We have a dead friend and an injured one. We need healing magic. Specifically, raised dead. It's been over a minute.
You start to, as you get closer to the temple to the Everflame, you start to say these things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, the temple court in general is quite solemn. Not obviously not. They're not mourning for Septimus, but it is looking. There's not a lot of people here. Something you would all notice, though, just some of you may notice. You can decide whether or not your character does, because it's out in plain sight. The temple that you all freed, remove the evil spirits from, is like abundantly overgrown with life right now. Far more than should have grown in the amount of time that it's been since you did that. A place that before was dead of all life. But as you approach the temple to the Everflame, of all the churches here, it's the most sort of traditional cathedral structure to it. There are two large double doors that are opened up, and you can see inside there's innumerable candles lit all over the place, stained glass portraying Zendariel, the Everflame. One of their priests comes rushing forward as they see you carrying bodies, particularly. They don't even necessarily hear what you're shouting. They just see someone bringing sick and wounded into their temple. This is a... not an Oxlin traditional Everflame church. This is more along the lines of the Gwyn worship of the Everflame. So there is that sort of dual portrayal of her as a god of blood and fire, and somewhat more malicious looking, or more devilish, once it's
It's old biblical god.
Yeah,
God.
yeah. Exactly.
Or Old Testament, excuse me.
Yeah. But this priest comes rushing forward. They wear very muted red monk's robes, essentially, with anyone who's probably wow, my brain is fried today. Jacques would recognize sort of the prayer beads that they carry with them that have sort of the ever burning quality to them for those who are called the burnt. But he comes rushing up. He looks like he's a half elf, probably in his late 30s, short Caesar style haircut, with some salt and pepper in it. As he just comes rushing over. And just, what is wrong? What is wrong? What do you need?
Our friend is dead. Our friend is dead. We need someone to resurrect him, and this one is wounded.
We have some diamonds, we have silver, whatever you need. Just please lend us your aid.
He looks over to Sal, and there's this immediate sort of hesitation you notice in his face as he looks to the machine and looks to the 15% machine person in his arms. But then he looks over to you two who are talking and says, how long has it been?
5 minutes?
Full minutes.
And then they look to Bruce's body, and then you can see they rush over to Bruce and without hesitation cast Cure Wounds onto Bruce. Seeing this is the easier thing to deal with, they are just immediately like, and pump that right into you, Bruce. For 12 hit points.
Nice.
Oh, easy there. Easy.
Where are we?
Jacquet gently sets him onto the cobblestone.
My skin is raw.
You're in the temple to the Dawn Mother, the Everflame. You have been injured grievously. Rest, rest. Food, water, quickly.
Where can we bring him? Please.
And he still looks hesitantly.
There's no time for this.
Your friend is dead. There is time. He will stay dead. These things will not change. This will require extraordinary magic. It will require contributions from yourselves, if you can offer them.
Anything.
You need from us.
We'll get it.
Bring him to the room behind the altar.
Sal.
You said you had diamonds.
Jacquet offers the bag of 250, and he goes, I can get more if need be. I have the coin.
I have a little too.
We'll need another 250.
I'll go. Where's the nearest? I know where the nearest gem shop is. And Jacquet runs off.
Come, you can
Feline
come to the back
agility
as well.
Runs off.
All of you. And T goes to help Bruce to his feet.
Come on, Fearn.
I follow behind.
When we get inside, I want to make sure that the two of them are comfortable and they have at least some water, and then I'm gonna like buzz about, just trying to make sure Sal puts Septimus down where he needs to be and trying to be as helpful as possible.
And you see there's a few other priests who come. They all look like, other than their distinct like features, they all have the same sort of Caesar haircut, same robes, same beads, prayer beads, as they're now just coming with food and water for all of you. Plain bread, water, very simple. As they are immediately preparing Septimus's body. They are they don't know his faith, so they just go into the rituals of the Everflame and begin to wash the blood away, set him down on a table back there, look towards wounds that they can close before the ritual. And there's now just 3 monks all tending to Septimus's body. They don't know what to do with the machine parts. They almost refuse to touch them as well. Like even as like his mechanical arm like falls off of the table, and they very hesitantly with cloth over their hands lift the arm, place it there. You get the distinct feeling that the Church of the Everflame is of the traditions that is intensely suspicious of machines.
It's not going to hurt you.
Is there anything I could do to help? And Bruce will like go next to where the monks are and take a closer look at Septimus's body, and to make it even more comfortable, Bruce might look to Sal and be like, "Can you take these off?"
Sal would not question, not even respond, would just go over and remove the machine parts from Septimus's body and keep them with him. The main priest would look at you, Bruce, and you, Sass and Fionn. How did this happen?
Bruce would look over at... actually, no, Bruce was kind of alive when Septimus made that decision, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you would have at least witnessed that part before going unconscious.
He didn't surrender. Just bad people.
We need more details than that. There are rules to resurrections within our faith.
Do you need details on how he died specifically?
Who are these bad people?
De Leon brothers. We were trying to make a statement. And fucking backfired. But what does that matter who did it?
Because we have rules for resurrections.
Is it based on the person who did it? Who kills them?
The nature of the death. If your friend here had died in pursuit of evil or wrong, or if your friend did not wish to be resurrected, we need to know these things.
Yeah, Fionn's gonna stand up and go to the whatever priest said that, and like grab their clothes and say,
"Hey, Fionn.
What are you trying to say?"
Nothing, Fionn. He's not trying to say anything. Sit down.
They're doing us a favor. No need to get aggressive here.
We are not a shop. We don't just come in and pay us silver and we resurrect anybody. We need to know who are using our faith and our goddess to resurrect.
This man has done nothing but good for your town for years. He's lived here. He's one of you. How can you treat him this way?
I am not.
I don't know that.
The priest looks to the body. We are treating him well. We just need to know this information before we perform such a feat.
Of course. Fionn, come on.
He's an agent of the Commodore, and you'll treat him with respect.
They are, Fionn. They are. Drink. Press a water goblet into your hands.
I'd smack it out of her hands and go back to sit down.
Not do anything until your other friend returns. But for the resurrection to be more successful, it helps if you have some offering, something to help the ritual, something of purpose or meaning to be used.
I immediately start digging through my bag for things, just pulling out seashells and broken pieces of wood and just like making a tiny little pile around myself looking for something.
It has been longer than a moment, longer than revivify. Your friend's soul will be on its way to wherever its destination. It will require these contributions to call him back. Anything of
Bonus-
meaning.
Can I look through Septimus's belongings?
Yeah.
Anything in there?
You know what? Let me just pull up Mike's character sheet real quick.
I mean, I could too, I think.
Yeah.
I have written down in my inventory a bunch of scraps from Machina from Stony Heath.
Mm-hmm.
Might take that out.
Septimus kept a very almost ascetic bag. Like, it has just what he needed. It has basically nothing in it except for his general supplies. He didn't really keep things beyond his tools and food and water. But above table, up to 3 of you can offer something to the ritual. You make an ability check with those items. If that ability check is successful, then it decreases the DC for Septimus's resurrection by 3 for each of you that succeed.
Does it need to be like a skill check, or can it like be like, can I, like, I have an item that I think I want to use?
You still would use some sort of skill check
Yes.
associated with it. That is your choice. It could be something like Arcana if you're contributing
We'll do
something
that.
like that. For
But,
you, it could easily
yeah.
simply just be a persuasion roll.
Yeah. Okay.
Or a tool check. Really, it can be literally any kind of check,
Okay.
as long as it's not just completely disconnected from what you're offering. These are the critical role resurrection rules that I'm using here. So that is
This doesn't teach me anything. Sean.
no. I'm just telling you where this is coming from, not pulling it out of my ass. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. There's a DC check for the resurrection spell. The DC is decreased by 3 for each successful offering to the ritual. A person's DC for their resurrection starts off at 10. Every time they're resurrected, that DC increases by 1. So it's not a super high threshold for it. And essentially, if 3 people successfully offer a tribute, it's impossible for the first one to fail because it brings the DC down to 1. So it's very low starting threshold. It just gets harder the more someone dies.
Yeah, Fion's just like checking his pockets and not finding anything, and just goes, "Damn it, Ugh. Bruce, do you have anything in your bag of holding, something that means something to Septimus?"
It really just likes metal. Here, I got another scrap for you. And
Truthfully,
probably really deterring to the monks.
yeah, they're just seeing you pull a bunch of random metal out of your bag, and they definitely are like looking to each other nervously. Like they certainly know who you are. Like once they really saw you, once you got in here, they're like, oh, this is them. The monk would look to you, Fearn, as you say this, and he goes, "These offerings don't always have to be items, belongings. They can be promises, oaths."
Sorry about that. Can you repeat that one more?
He basically said these offerings don't always have to be items or treasures. They could be promises, oaths, things that you're essentially offering up to the soul of the person, and or the god that is resurrecting them. So it could be something like, oh, I don't have a sentimental item. I promise X oath to this god, or I create this oath with Septimus himself here. That's a little more abstract, but there are abstract ways that you can create an offering as well. You honestly have a lot of freedom with this. If you suggest something that doesn't really seem like it would fit, I'll let you know or offer a tweak to it to make it fit in with it. This is my first time ever doing a real resurrection.
So I will have like just a circle of debris essentially around me, having just emptied my bag, and like I'm like nothing is good enough, so I'll just kind of like throw it to the side and like put my head in my hands for a second, and then feeling the eye patch on my face, I will just kind of like look up for a second, and then I'll take my eye patch off so that my ghostly ethereal eye is now visible to everyone. And I will look at the eye patch, kind of cock my head a bit, and then look at Septimus and say, I'm done masquerading as something that I thought was going to be a ticket to a better life. I need you to come back to us, Septimus. We've got way too much work to do. I need you to come back and lead us. I need something much more noble to follow than a washed-up dream. And I will offer my eye patch to whoever is collecting items.
It would be the priest. He would collect it and he would say, you need to wait until the ritual begins. We need the diamonds from your other friend.
You can still keep it.
For now, contemplate your offerings and we'll prepare the ritual. As soon as your friend is back, we will begin. This Septimus is acceptable. An acceptable person for resurrection.
Thank you.
And it would be some tense moments of quiet in the room as they finish preparing Septimus's body. You see they did some superficial healing to just close wounds. Even though resurrection spells tend to close these wounds on their own, it is better for scarring to do these rituals before the actual resurrection. Jacquette, you would return at this point.
Rushing through the door, Jacques goes, I got that. Oh, there's still some residual dust. I have the rest of the diamonds. I got them on the cheap, too, because the shopkeeper didn't even notice. I ran in and just stole them. No, I'm just kidding. Wouldn't that be funny?
The god knows when the diamonds were not paid for in full. The priests immediately take the diamonds and look to you all. Jacquette, they would also let you know that about the offering practice for increasing the success rate of the resurrection. But they would begin the ritual as one priest begins to just sort of light candles around the room. They lower any lights that are not these candles. It begins to grow quite dark in here, except for this underlit light now. And they take the diamonds and they put them into a pewter bowl. And you can see one of them just sort of waves their hands over it, and the bowl ignites with a very, very bright green flame. Despite all of the red sort of aesthetics of the space, the room is now lit with this combination of small orange candles and this robust green flame over the diamonds. As the priest seems to almost grab the fire in his hand and begins to sort of carve out lines in the air with the fire that remain sort of floating there in different runic shapes. And then they look to you all and say, the three of you may offer something to the flame to draw your friend's soul back to this world. And he holds up your eye patch, Sass. Make your statement again.
I am through masquerading as someone who wanted a life of adventure. I need you, Septimus. I need you to lead us, to lead me for something worth living for.
The priest drops the eye patch. The fire grows brighter. Go ahead and give me the roll of your choice.
We'll do persuasion. $17.
The offering is accepted. DC is lowered by 3.
Yorke walks forward and he takes out a peculiar shell. To some, it may just be a normal seashell, but to those with a discerning eye, it's quite a beautiful shell. It's really representative of a friendship. As he holds it up and then looks to Saskia and goes, I'm not getting rid of it because I don't like it, but what it represents. This reminds me to not be so selfish about the friends that I've made between all of us. I'm offering this as a promise to you, Septimus. I'll still be an asshole, but I'll be your friend who's an asshole. Don't leave us like this. As he... Well, it almost looks like he callously tosses it, but, you know, it's very gentle to make sure it goes in the flame.
Go ahead and make your roll.
We'll do persuasion. It's a natural 1, however, I can't roll lower than a 10, so it's a 22.
The flame burns brighter, and your offering is accepted. And DC is lowered by another 3. So the DC is a 4 now, but this is a empty roll, no modifiers, so it's still, of course, a chance for failure. The only way to secure absolute success is for one more successful offering.
I'll go next. While waiting for Jaquette to get back, Fian had collected some wax from some nearby candles and had cooled it off using, I don't know, armor gases or something, and kind of fashioned it into a small emblem or medallion, like a puck of like this white solid wax, and he etches a small abyssal rune on it, and he hands it over and says, "This says Ironheart, the friendly name of the man before us today. He has done so much for us, and in the pursuit of justice, it is aptly named. He is aptly named, and I hope that he remembers what it means to be part of my clan. This symbol is much greater than anything else I can give." And I just hand it over.
And what skill would you roll for this?
I suppose maybe religion.
Sounds right to
Either
me.
that, yeah. $18. And I use my storm room shard to get rid of the disadvantage from poison.
Okay. The fire burns brighter, and the offering is accepted. Bruce, you can still offer something, although there's no longer any mechanical reason for it.
Yeah, there's no reason for me.
You can still you can say something nice if you'd like.
Bruce is gonna. Well, he had in his hand some scrap from the machina that he kind of I want to say like with the mending spell, he kind of like broke off a piece
Mhm.
and etched like a patch into like his thumb that he was kind of playing with. Very similar to something that he'll slap on somebody to heal them.
Mhm.
Except made out of this metal, and so he'll go up to the body and since I've stepped foot in Halcyon, you're my only friend that really showed me around. I can really relate to you. I kind of need you to come back here, bud. You know, you meant a lot to all of us, especially me, and I don't think your story ends here. And just like you do for me, I will do all I can to bring you back, even if it requires another limb to be built.
And with these offerings, the priest completes the ritual. The runes that they lit up in the air all sort of start to fizzle out and turn into these sort of just little embers falling to the ground as everything grows quite dim now, even the green fire. It's almost as if there's this artificial wind in the room that is bringing these things down, as the priests are now sort of humming and speaking in low tones the verbal components of this. As Septimus, you don't need to make the roll because you can't fail it now.
Are you sure?
But somewhere out there, your soul was moving amongst the planes of existence. And you would have felt yourself being sort of stretched thin and spread out, as if you were rapidly traveling somewhere. And your whole body couldn't quite keep up, almost like you yourself became a shooting star with a tail that is your spirit. But then you feel nothing. As if you're free floating in the cosmos. You think about what you're feeling. And then you feel your essence violently pulled back. As if the ritual stopped your movement towards wherever your soul was destined for, and then you were ripped backwards to head back to your body. You start to feel almost warm, and then hot, and then painful burning as you pass through the realm of Zendario. And for a moment, you open your eyes, and you are floating on your back in a pool of blood, looking up at a 20-foot tall angelic lich, the visage of Zendario. But then you hear a whisper in your ear. Since you're in my neighborhood, and then you're pulled under the blood beneath the surface, and then find yourself waking up drenched in blood, sitting at a table, a wooden table, feeling the rocking back and forth of a ship. You look around, and it's a captain's quarters of a ship. It's been utterly destroyed. There's like oil paintings with rapier cuts through them. There's empty bottles. You hear the sound of muffled music out on the deck of this ship. There's low fires, low candles, but the ship is just constantly moving back and forth. It almost feels rhythmic. It almost feels artificial. As you look around, there's food on the table, but it all, at this point, looks rotten, as if it's been there and no one has eaten it. The windows are all glazed over, but you can see there's just red light behind them and sort of the impressions of fire. As you hear boots on the planks of wood, as someone sits down across from you. A man with well-kept hair, a goatee, fine clothing on, rings, a rapier at his waist, as he sits down and leans against the chair and looks at you with a smile on his face. Now, you're the third member of Iron and Mana I have bumped into.
Where am I, devil?
Sorry for commandeering this resurrection, but I couldn't resist when you entered my neighborhood. Oh, Zenny, she's a stuffy old spirit. You don't want to deal with her. Where are you? Well, let's just say you're visiting my home for a brief moment. A world of endlessness with no rest or sleep, only living and revelry. As you can see, it can get quite destructive. Your soul is moving rapidly through the cosmos, back to your body.
My body. That's right. I failed. How did I be so stupid? I'm not a savior.
You see Roland grabs, like, sort of just like, he's looking amongst the table, and he just sort of like picking between half-empty glasses of wine and rum. And he just grabs, I'll have to admit, mate, it was quite the show. But yes, you did fail. But that doesn't mean your story's over, as one of your little friends said. You get another chance.
By any means that they bring me back under your control, I want none of it.
Oh, darling. This isn't me doing this. I've just kidnapped you for a moment. No, resurrections. I don't deal in resurrections. Not every extraplanar being can resurrect you on a whim. I couldn't do that. I don't want to do that. No, I'm just here for a brief conversation before you head back. You'll have your full autonomy, maybe a little bit of Zenny in your brain, but you'll make do. You'll make do. Yevaflame doesn't like to pry. She's not a real devil. Still too much angel in her. No. I wanted to have a brief conversation with you before you head back, because you have something of mine that I need. Oh, but of course, if you'd like to enter into any deals, well, you know. Speaking from experience, it's not always so bad to deal with devils.
Septimus just thinking in his mind for a second. It's like, I'm dead and resurrected through Zendariel. I'm in the hells. Could I roll like a history or religion check?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are you looking to figure out?
Well, anything from the information we know of Roland, of like what his identity would be.
Go ahead and give me a religion check, history check, or insight check.
I'll do religion and 23. And I'll say, without you going too much and me not trying to pry, would it be safe for me to say that I could put together that he's actually Ro?
Yeah, I think from the conversations with Jacquette, and the experience of the party, and the fact that he, if anything, you're more so putting together that Ro is a devil, despite Ro's imagery as just sort of this bard's bard. This,
I see what you're saying.
like, because the thing is, you have no background to think that Ro was a devil until you connect that Roland is Ro, which I'll say with that 23 also you can successfully surmise. And now realizing there's a whole religion of people who worship a devil who think they don't worship a devil.
It took me so long, but seeing face to face with you this whole time, you're Ro. You're the one that people believe in and celebrate, but you're actually a devil. What business do you have with us? To Jacquette, or even Sass, who you're just meeting on a whim?
Well, I'm not planning on giving you my whole hand here, Septimus. Let's just say I have a vested interest in you and your friends. It takes a certain balance of my experience, my past, narcissism, mild to wild psychosis, familial issues, to make a successful adventuring party. And you all have it in spades. Which drew my attention to you. Well, honestly, Jacquette drew my attention, and then you all were sort of part of his endeavors. And, well, let's just say I like to check in on new bards, and sometimes they happen to be more fruitful potential friends. And despite this current failure, you all have been very, very interesting. Sure. Call me a devil. I was once a man like you, though. A man who gave up quite a lot. So why don't you get something for it? You help me a little bit. I help you a little bit. And as he says that, you start to feel in your veins warmth as the effects of this realm begin to seep into your mind and soul. You start to feel a sense of bliss, desire to partake in hedonism. There's food that was once rotten that now looks delicious, fresh. A teetotaler who now looks at the alcohol with a desire. So, Septimus, shall I send you back to your body, let you go to the whims of the magic of the priests of the Everflame? Or are you looking for more power and sway over your reality? Don't have much time to think about it. I can't hold you here forever. Well, I guess I could, but I'd rather not.
You must think me a fool to think I'd come up with such an offer, or even consider it. I've seen what's become of Sass. Someone who has bargained with the likes of someone more powerful.
Please.
Who's lost a piece. Searching for something.
Your friend Saskia is dealing with a belligerent child. No. I'm seasoned in this sort of dealings. Although I'll admit most of the people who have entered pacts with me don't 100% know that they're in a pact. But I'm offering you something I don't usually offer. Full knowledge of what you're getting yourself into. And don't worry, this is not a full pact, not a full contract. No need to, as they say, multi-class. No, mate, this is simple. You help me, I help you, we're done. You keep helping me, I keep helping you.
Septimus just looks down for a second, maybe feeling a bit of the bliss of his realm, whatever it is, and also just feeling really low. Just say, even if I wanted your offer, what uses someone like me to you? Someone who can't take, whose pompous and arrogance cost him his life.
Like I said, man, pompous, arrogant, narcissistic, mild to wild, psychosis and psychopathy is what I want. And you all have it. Don't let this one little failure bruise your knees, scrape your skin. No, if I let that happen to me, well, I'd have died a long time ago. No, I leveraged my failures. They got me where I am today, for better or worse. So do the same. Quit being such a sad, pathetic loser. I'm offering you the ability to back up what you're saying. To make the pump purposeful. All you have to do is help me. With some mild ritualistic magic and perhaps some vengeance. Things I'd thought you'd like. Maybe I was wrong about iron and mana. And he sits back and sips from his drink.
Septimus pauses for a minute. Although I admit that I acted in arrogance, that's not who I am. I let the power get to my head. And I'm not going to let you tempt me with more.
I should have assumed that you would be too much of a schoolboy for this. Well, I suppose the rest will do. Sass, she's got the right level of gullibility. I think I'll get her. Jacquet is easy. He's a narcissistic fool. Ian. Ooh. Sense of delusion. Bouts of psychopathy against enemies. Rage. Oh, those I can get to. Bruce might be a bit too cowardly. But there's violence behind those eyes. The little dragon has his own bouts of temptation and bloodlust. No, Septimus, I think we'll meet again. The offer stands. I only need one of you, really. Now, up, get up. Come with me. And he, like, if you don't get up, he just rushes over and, like, literally lifts you up and starts to push you out the door of his captain's quarters. He opens the door and he goes, well, we could have made fast friends, Septimus, and really, truly, it would have been such an easy breezy deal for you. But you pretend it wasn't arrogance that stopped you from taking this deal. Oh, no one starts their own religion if they're not a narcissist. He shoves you out the door and slams the door closed. As you're just on the deck of a ship now, where you can see there are people, pirates, it looks like, all along the deck. There are tables set up where some of them are just devouring food, gulping down wine. Some of them are dancing as music is playing. There's people swinging from the rigging. You also notice the ship is not on water. It is on a tower that is artificially pushing it back and forth as you look out past the ship, and you just see this hellish landscape of what looks like a city, what looks ostensibly similar to Hyven a little bit, but perhaps it's another Aldhalor city in comparison. And there's just sounds of music coming from everywhere as there's just sort of this blood red sky above. All the people dancing and eating, they all have huge smiles on their faces, but their eyes look like the saddest things you've ever seen. They look tired. They look sick when you look in their eyes.
Oh.
The door opens up again behind you. Oh, that's right. That's right. I have to actually release you. Come over here. Look out there. Look out there. You see that little building there? I'm reserving that for a particular special someone when he gets here. And you could have helped me. But instead, I'll send you back. Goodbye for now. This was not enjoyable for me. And he shoves you off the side of the ship. And you just start to fall, tumbling down towards the streets below, where you can see these cobblestones that have blood, like, just sort of flowing between them. As you're about to hit the ground, all goes dark, and you open your eyes, and you look up and see your friends all around you. But not from the perspective of Septimus. A voice in your ear whispers, "Oh, sorry, mate. I may have fucked that up. Your friends will figure it out." As you look at your hands and you see the robotic hands of Sal. You all look, you see,
Did it work?
the ritual stops. They bring the lights back up. Septimus is still unconscious there.
Why isn't he
On
moving?
the ground.
Who's the closest person to him?
Probably Bruce or Fiern.
He'll just go up to Bruce and like put both of Sal will like just like walk up to Bruce and like put both of his hands on him.
It's alright,
just,
buddy.
Just like start shaking him. Like mildly, like
Did it work? Why isn't Septimus moving?
and then start
I don't
patting
know.
his chest
Did it go wrong?
I don't know.
and make
Sal,
a
what's wrong?
gesture. Make a
The
gesture
priest-
to Sept.
The priest looks at you, Sass, and looks down at the body confused, but then looks back up to you all. No. The ritual was successful.
Then why isn't he moving?
Sally,
One of the priests starts to mutter, like fear stricken over his face. He starts to mutter in a language that I don't think any of you know. Wait, actually, no, Jacquette, you probably know it. Jacquette, would you, in your tutelage as a kid, been taught Gwyn?
Yeah, I know Elvish,
Okay.
which I assume would be the Gwen Elvish.
Yep. This priest is muttering like prayers of protection, muttering devilish robot. Like it's consumed his soul, it's consumed his spirit. It must get it out of here. As the main priest just sort of starts to look panically from that priest to you all.
Where is he?
I think there is a bit of, how do they say, crust wires?
I hear Sass. Say, "Where is he?" And Sal will just point to himself, and then point to the Septimus, or his body, my body.
The main
then
priest would
back.
look at Sal and then look to you all and say, "This wicked machina has consumed your friend's spirit."
No. No, I think you guys messed up somehow.
We did not mess up the ritual. We did it as was instructed. The soul came back, but it was devoured by this creature. Bring it out of here. Get it out of here. Take your friend. Now!
Okay.
Septimus, you want to grab yourself?
Sal will just like very like weirdly and awkwardly go over to pick up my own body.
It's very like you're
And
You're-
I'm just like looking at myself because like, and I'm just like there for a minute, like, what the hell?
Septimus? In there? Oh fuck.
All right. We gotta go.
Oh, okay. How the fuck do we undo this?
I actually might have an idea.
Oh, classic Bruce.
Let's get out of here. Thank
think
you. Whatever.
yeah.
your
They start to
are.
like literally start pushing you guys out as they're all just like none of them are speaking common anymore. They're all speaking in Gwyn and just like prayers and like you'd almost think an exorcism is happening, Jacquette. But also like for some reason in my head I am imagining Gwyn Elvish sounds like really fast talking Italian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Excuse
exactly.
you.
Gesundheit. Let's keep it about it.
Tu sei un pazzo, benedetto qui.
As they rush
as-
you out of the temple.
As they're rushing us out, like I'll be the last one out and just kind of like turn around and I'll take out, as I like hastily put back all my debris that was in my little circle. It's all back in my bag now, but I'll take out my 250 silver that I have and just be like, here, thank you for helping. We're sorry. He's not dangerous, I promise. He's really not, I promise. But thank you for your help. Let's go.
They slam the doors shut. They do take your silver though.
Figured.
Damn clergy.
As soon as Sal, or as soon as I, in Sal's body, walk outside, he'll just kneel down and just place his own body, my own body, on the floor. And Septimus is just looking at it, and just like in a daze, it's just like, what the hell?
I'll go knock on your chest. What the fuck do we do about this? I mean, hello? Yes, so happy that your soul is here. Thank fuck. We're so worried. Okay, I was worried. I'm sure everybody else was, but fuck do we do now?
Okay. Well, the hard part has already done, but I think there's a way to siphon whatever his soul is back to his body, but maybe his vessel is incompatible right now. I don't know. It's kind of just making shit up here.
Do we go to another temple?
either that, or we bring him back to his workshop. Or, well, first things first, we got to go to a general store and get Septimus chalkboard so he can carry it around and write to us.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds like a really annoying trope. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't
Oh.
Sal talk before?
No.
Only to Septimus. All right. So what do we think? Do we?
Well, yes, I think we do need to get Septimus and Sal back to the workshop, but are we going to do anything about what we just fucking did? Are we gonna go tell the Commodore that was us that just pissed him off, or that we tried to do it in her name? Or are we just gonna let it? What do we do now? Everybody's laughing at us.
Oh, do we care about our friend here, or do we care about our status? What's the priority here?
Oh, when you put it fucking that way, of course our friend.
It doesn't
Right.
matter. Iron and Mana lost. That's it. It's over.
Over?
We
The
might as
fuck
well
do you
just
mean
go to the
over?
homestead, take care of things there, and I don't know. I guess I can take up farming or fuck if I know. Can you farm? Is that a learned skill, or do you have to be born with that gene? I don't know how any of it works.
You gotta learn it. You gotta.
Also,
Be part of
hold on. Are you giving up? Jacquette Touchard is giving up?
It's over. I mean, come on. Did you see that? The De Leon brothers and that fucker Sam knocked the wind out of us. They killed Septimus. They took down Fionn and Bruce. I was useless.
Jacquette, I know you might not be used to this because you come from a very elegant household where you were kind of given everything and you were just naturally good at a lot of things. Now,
Is that a compliment?
it's both a compliment and an insult at the same time.
Okay,
Now-
I thought it was veiled.
Now, everybody else, us normal people, had to really work hard for everything in our lives. And a lot of times we would lose, but we always had to get back up on our feet and keep pursuing our goals. Now, you
As
can
soon as-
give up here.
Bruce says, "Get back up on her feet and go." Septimus will like cock his head up, pick up his body, and just start walking.
Wait, where are you going?
I think
He'll
there's
turn
a
around-
pep talk going on here.
He'll stop. He'll turn around. His head will be down, and he'll just like look up, and I'll just point in the direction of where his homestead would be.
We're gonna go, Septimus. We're gonna go. But we need to deal with this first. We need to deal with someone who's never lost a day in their life.
Oh, I've lost plenty of days when I was drunk and in a stupor and didn't know where I was. I've lost plenty of times. You know what happens after I lose? I do something else.
So how is this different? Why can't you do something else?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Iron Mana's done, so it's time to go,
We're
I don't know,
not
be a farmer.
fucking done, Jacquette.
It's-
We're not done.
Sal will just point at Jaquette.
Yeah, he's being...
And
I
not
don't even know. Are you saying
Yeah,
he's
see?
right? Are you
Septimus
telling me
gets
he's
it.
right? Are you fucking kidding me?
Do you believe so little in us?
Didn't until then. And I still think that we were shit for a long time. Hot shit, excuse me. But the train set off. Bye-bye. Ship sailed. Time to pack it up and move on to the next thing.
I will go over to Jacquette. I will get right in his face. You listen to me. Iron and Mana is not done. What are you going to do next? Are you just going to go back home with those people who came for you And you're just gonna go what? Just go and drink yourself into stupors for the rest of your fucking life?
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
No, Jacquette, no. You're going to fucking face this. And you're gonna fucking learn something from it.
Learned something already. We
Just
lost.
stop.
We lose.
Stop talk. Just stop for once in your fucking life. Stop talking.
No,
And
you
listen.
should let him talk. Honestly, if he wants to be a miserable sack of shit for the rest of his life, let him.
No.
He doesn't deserve you.
Actually, we might have, in some sense, won. I don't know.
Oh, please. Now what are we saying?
Well,
Yeah, no. Well, I agree with you.
What-
What the fuck are you talking about, Bruce?
you know, we're not high and mighty anymore. We're not a, you know, Mr. Greaves doesn't have to hide from us anymore. Right?
Bruce, this isn't a game. We're not using this crap as a way to keep ourselves undercover. No matter what, people know our name.
Fionn, are you saying that we should give up too? Are you done? Are
No,
you out of iron
nothing
and
good.
mana?
Nothing good came of this, but it was a loss, sure. But I'm not giving up. I'm
Good.
gonna do what we should have done from the beginning, and tell the Commodore, and maybe we can get some muscle that can actually do something around here.
Okay. Yes, path forward. Back to you. I thought you were more than a little kitten who would run away with their tail between their
Not a
legs
cat.
as soon as things got tough. I thought
I guess it just shows that you don't really know me, Saskia. Jacques throws up his hands.
All right, Jacquette. I do know something that you. If you stick around a little bit longer, I'll pay you. Just hang around a little bit longer.
All right. Easier to hang out with you guys, I guess. Lead the way.
So,
I start cursing in primordial under my breath and walk away as we head toward the general store to get Septimus a chalkboard.
you can easily get a chalkboard for 1 silver.
Well, somebody else is going to have to pay for it. I just gave her my silver too.
Yeah, I got it. All right. Well, Septimus, Sal, can we, before we head out, let's just make sure we get all the supplies we need from town. Can we go to the Harlequin and Chalice real quick? Maybe borrow a room real quick from Orin?
I mean, I think all our stuff's still there.
Yeah, we probably should go back there.
You should probably go get your stuff, yeah. Yes, you can head back to the Harlequin and Chalice.
Do we still
Orin-
have that cool carriage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just still ours.
Orin
Jacquette's
immediately freaks
actually-
out, though, when you walk in, as you're carrying Septimus' dead body. What? Oh, Brace, what's going on here? What's wrong with Septimus?
He's dead. We
Hey,
need to
bro-
bring him upstairs. I'm sorry.
Not quite. He's in there. I just point to Septimus. Sal.
I always say that. You make friends with adventurers. Open your doors to them. They're gonna bring weird shit to your bar.
Yeah, we'll pass through. He's just sleeping. We're gonna bring him upstairs.
You're lucky I like you, Bruce.
All right. Me too.
And you're lucky Jacquette makes me money. And you can proceed over to one of the rooms.
All right. So why didn't that ritual work. And what are we gonna need here?
Well, it did work, right? The soul came back. Just went into Sal's body.
Right, as almost as if the vessel is incapable of holding his soul right now. I wish I could tap into Sal's mind, but right now Septimus isn't there. Septimus, do you have any idea why this might be the case? You could write on your chalkboard.
Speak up.
That was a no.
Rice louder.
Sorry. Sal would just nod his head no without writing anything.
Sean, can I do an investigation check on Septimus's body?
Yes.
Uh, 20.
Um.
I'm gonna bump it up 5, so 25.
Okay. And is there anything particular you are looking for?
Like why? Like is if Septimus's body was unable to house a soul by any means, or like I don't know if there's anything that like maybe the priests have missed.
Yeah. So you got a 25, right?
Yeah.
The mingling that you can think of through this. Imagine you're sitting there, you're investigating it, you're like looking for details. You know, you don't know a ton about souls. But you have a scientific mind, you have a naturalist's mind, you would start to come up with a hypothesis. A few things come to mind that you're just sort of like maybe throw away, like you know, is there something wrong with Septimus's soul particularly? There's a moment there where you're like, maybe Sal is evil. Maybe Sal does do something weird with souls. And then you think about Sass's patron, but then as you're looking at Septimus's body and investigating it, you know, looking at the wounds that were closed, scarred, your hand settles on the augmentations on Septimus's body, the mechanical arms, and a hypothesis sparks in your head that perhaps it is Septimus's incomplete form that might have confused the ritual, and that Septimus's soul is been affected by his augmentations, and perhaps something happened here where the soul latched onto the wrong entity.
But it latched on to Sal, preferably, rather than the more biological.
That's what you start to theorize.
I think Septimus, you could nod yes or no. I think your body might need a little bit more machine components to them.
Sal just looking blankly because he can't blink or anything. But all this is happening, Septimus is thinking, and what's going through his head, I would imagine, is like when you have like a really great like REM sleep and like dreams, but like you forget it immediately when you wake up. But then as like the morning progresses, like everything just starts like coming back to you. Like he's getting flashbacks of the moment that he died, the floating in the ethereal void, and then finally like speaking to Roland before waking up and like being so surprised that he's in Sal's body that like maybe it was missed, or like it's like really like starting to sink in.
Mm-hmm.
He'll pick up the chalkboard, and he'll write down possible, but then wipe it away Then right, also possible ritual tampered. And then once he shows that, Reed shows that to everybody, crosses that out or erases it, whatever. And then we'll write saw and spoke with Roland.
Oh, that fucker?
What did he want?
Deal.
You mentioned me? You physically see Sal, like, sigh.
Yeah, Septimus, you have to figure out the nonverbal language of Sal to get your point across.
Yeah.
Septimus, can you feel your magic in there?
Actually, a good question. Any of the magic that I have, would I be able to cast? Potentially try to cast? Like if I would try to conjure a Sacred Flame, for say, I guess Septimus will try to cast Sacred Flame. Does that work?
You feel it's an interesting feeling. When you cast magic as Septimus, like you feel the power, and you feel the power as if it's being called to your hand. So it's not like that sacred flame comes from somewhere else, as opposed to coming from within you. When you cast this as Sal, it feels like it's coming from within you, like from your heart, coming out into your hands, as if there's the imbuement of Sal with your magic. You are still able to cast while you are embodying Sal's body, because the magic is still there.
Fearn would like to try something. This is a long shot, but maybe. Can you cast protection from evil or good on yourself?
Possibly no, because that might have verbal components.
It does have verbal components. Shit. Okay. So Fearn is going to take the hand of Septimus's body that's not like mechanical, and put it to Sal's chest. And he's holding it there with his hands. And as he does that, he's like touching both the Sal and Septimus, and he's gonna cast protection from evil and good on Sal.
Okay.
Which will target cannot be charmed, frightened, or possessed by either aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and the undead. So I don't know if any of those things equate to, Septimus's state, but the hope is that, like, it will force it out into the other body.
A very interesting solution that is just not quite enough, because it's like Sal is arguably possessed right now, but it's more so that Sal and Septimus are sharing this body right now. Like Septimus, the longer you're in Sal's body, like you start to realize that you can feel Sal's presence in here. Like he's not vanished from this vessel. You are almost.
Him?
You can try.
So,
Well, that's all I got.
Yeah, like Fear, when you cast it, there's sort of like a sizzle that happens, and then no results from it. I mean, Sal's protected now for 10 minutes from Celestials, Fiends,
Aberration,
Fae.
Celestials.
Sal, I can feel your energy. Are you there?
Septimus. I don't like this.
I'm sorry. I didn't want this. This is. I didn't mean to intrude, but something's wrong. I need to find a way back to myself.
I didn't know the way back to myself either before I met you. I don't know if there was a self to me before. But I also want you to leave this body.
Okay, well,
Do you-
we'll need to figure it out. Gotcha,
Now you,
sorry.
and the last thing Sal says, now you understand my frustration when I can't speak to them.
Septimus, do you suppose? Well, first of all, I mean, not metagame here. Am I correct in assuming you didn't take the deal?
Sal would just shake his head no.
Do you suppose he did this? Because you didn't take the deal? I can go punch him. He likes to find me when I'm on the beach.
He'll
Let me
write
give it back.
again, possible, but also Bruce's too.
As in Bruce's idea to go to your
Yeah.
homestead? Yeah.
Or Bruce's idea that there's not enough mechanics on Septimus to attract my soul.
Fear, I like where your head's at. I think we need a metallic conduit instead of his hand. But also, like I said before, maybe a more metallic vessel as well. So I think a combination of what you're trying to do, and I don't know. I guess I gotta. Are we gonna replace his innards? I mean, I don't know. I don't want to go in there.
Let's just pull his hand out for a second. We're like, wait.
I mean,
And he'll write, say mechanical parts work. How to extract my soul.
well, I kind of liked Fearn's idea. I think it just needs a little bit more to it. Do you remember when we were in Billowgrass and we tried to remove that, the soul of that spirit, the elemental inside that person,
We
but
need a
like
gem?
do the opposite effect back
Right.
into Septimus's body?
But then we had a conduit. We used a
Right.
crystal.
Right. So I think we need that. I think we need a metallic conduit, but we also need the homestead of wherever Septimus's soul
things
is going
are.
to land to be correct as well.
What type of conduit do we need? Another diamond?
I imagine maybe I could probably use some scrap metal from the previous Machina, but we still need, Septimus' soul to stick in his body as well.
How do you make a soul stick?
It's gotta want to stick. I don't know. This is all theory.
Should we maybe go
When we had to,
research it?
or I could,
I-
the core from which Sal's body. I don't know how this faith shit works.
I'm gonna Fion's gonna take Bruce aside for a second.
What's up?
And just whisper something in his ear. So the others can't hear. And say, the book that you have.
No, nope. Bruce,
We don't need to
from
use
the
it.
corner.
But
Oh.
I remember the circles, the things to bind. I dare not mess with it, but perhaps we can use it as a safeguard. If, for whatever reason, this spirit goes free, and we can't bind it to his body, perhaps we can keep it from disappearing from this plane. It might save his life.
We're getting into a territory I don't know enough in, and I mean this whole territory I don't know enough in. But the way we can know things is we can go to the library. We do know Sigil. He might have some books that could help us, and maybe some people.
I will go. You take Septimus to the homestead. I'll bring back what I can.
Well, I think it really comes down to what Septimus wants to do with his body. Septimus, what do you want to do? Do you have an idea of what you want to make machine, or do you want to try that, or do you want to just try something else?
The other thing I'll say real quick that you notice about Septimus's body is he's not dead anymore. The body looks as though it's very faintly breathing.
Oh.
The resurrection worked in the sense that the body came back to life. The soul just didn't enter it. So there's this catatonic Septimus that you're now noticing very slightly breathing. The lights are on, but nobody's home.
Does Sal have an off switch?
You
know, I heard you have to turn them off and turn it on again. That should be the first troubleshooting step.
We're not going to touch that button.
Septimus were just right. No library. I think we should leave the city as soon as possible.
Without talking to the Commodore?
He'll just nod his head.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
I don't like it, but it's his call.
Get supplies in the city before we head out. Anything specific we might need?
Well, I'll buy you a keg of wine, Jacquet.
I still have a couple in the crate in the carriage. Don't you worry about me.
All right. Then yeah.
I wouldn't trust your taste anyways.
Well, I would just get your brand, but all right.
My friend!
Is there any particular things you're looking to buy for whatever you plan to do?
I am looking for one thing to do, but that can be done before, but like after everybody buys things.
Okay. So I'm particularly looking at Septimus, Sal, and Bruce.
Altimus.
Saltimus. Septimus.
Septatore.
Like oh, that's right, you could do his phone. Like if you are planning to do any kind of surgery, what you might need for that and what you plan to do. Because if it's making another hand or any kind of external body part, you don't have the same metals you had before. It would be not up to par with what I think Septimus would want his augmented body to be. You could do it, but it's better with the salvaged Kieran ore.
Maybe this is a better question
Kieran ore.
Maybe this is a better question for you, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anyone from the academy that would be like capable of, who would have this sort of stuff? Like somebody who's like the most medically capable person that
Yeah.
I
The
imagine-
university does have. I mean, there's a naturalist school. And
Oh,
part of
yeah.
that is
Yeah.
medicine.
yeah,
Went.
who's the
Sebastian
dean
Went.
of naturalism?
Actually, no, scratch that. What was the name of that guy that I talked to?
Joyce Arendt. Nope.
Joyce Arendt, yes.
Uh,
Or no, it wasn't Arendt.
no,
It was. I have it. I have it.
It was like a surgeon.
It was. Oh, where is
Sebastian
it? Corellius.
Went.
No.
Sebastian.
Well, Sebastian is the professor of Biologica.
Biologica.
Yes. There was also
Okay.
Corellius Firma, who
Oh,
just had-
Avenir.
had questions to you about.
He's an Avenirian.
Yes.
Well, Sebastian was the one I was thinking of.
Yes, Sebastian is a professor of biology, so he would be a good person to talk. Corellius Firma was an Avenirian who was interested in your artificing.
Right. He's in the College of Artificers.
Yep.
Right.
So yeah, so he wouldn't be necessarily someone for like the medical things, but perhaps someone who has some knowledge of the actual mechanical
Do
side
we
of
know where Dante lives?
it. Dante,
He's retired.
you don't know where his retirement home is.
Damn.
You could, I mean, it would be very easy to ask. You know, you're in good with most of the deans that they wouldn't probably be too hesitant to connect you with Dante.
Yeah, I mean, seeing as I'm a little bit hesitant of Sebastian, and I don't know who the other person you mentioned was, I'm gonna try and like while other people are buying things, I'm going to like basically run to the academy as fast as I can and try and find either Dante or like news about Dante or Etha Valentine, his replacement, to see.
Hold on, because we might all go. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, his replacement was Silrin Chevalier. And they were from the School of Arts and Humanities. So probably not who you're really looking for.
Who's Etha Valentine then? Naturalism, magic,
Yep.
and
Eva.
medicine.
She's the dean of the School of Naturalism. Yeah.
Yeah, so that sounds good.
Are other people thinking of going to the academy to see if you can talk to some experts?
I'll go.
Yeah, I mean, like, if Bruce would really look at Septimus once more, like, is this what you want to do?
He'll end up nodding his head. That's a
Alright.
good idea.
Okay. So yeah, and then we'll head our way to the academy.
Okay. So if you head there, I mean, you guys have entry there. You don't need to do any kind of special things to get in. Although you can specifically ask at the front gatehouse for an appointment with Aoife Valentine if you'd like, or any of the other faculty. So who would
Yeah,
you
I
like
think
to
I
go
would
see?
make it very urgent for
Mhm.
Aoife Valentine. I would say that, this is an emergency situation. We need to see her now. Earliest convenience, but it is a matter of life and death.
The gatehouse secretary would disappear into the back. You'd hear a few sounds of teleportation, and then you'd hear some sounds of teleportation again as she returns. And she steps out and goes, "Given your significant contributions to the university and general morbid curiosity, Aoife, Dean Valentine, will see you. You may follow me.
Good, thank you.
Right this way." And they lead you into the back area where there's the teleportation circle room that you all saw the first time you were here. And the secretary is very professional. Right, everybody, step onto the circle. Please, no feet off the circle. We don't want any splicing happening. And
Sasuke, don't touch that.
Fuck, what? I wasn't touching anything.
it's as soon as you say "I wasn't touching anything," you all are spaghettified and then unspaghettified into a new space. As you would be in a hallway of a Very contemporary building. Like this is very nice, very new. It's one of the newer buildings for the School of Naturalism, as the university is investing in artificing and naturalism, mostly. And the secretary walks you across the hall and gently knocks on the door. The door opens up wide, and you can step into Aoife Valentine's office. Inside, it is a circular chamber that has a main common area with Aoife's desk there, but also several other tables and desks with different magical and organic materials all over it. There's a second floor that has a mezzanine looking down into that first floor that has walls of books lining it of her personal collection. There are samples everywhere. You find just sort of a cage with these exotic looking birds that are this bright scintillating blue and are all immediately staring at you. There's about 12 of them in there. They're one of those. They have that like weird beak that looks too much like a mouth that those Australian birds have. Don't know if you know that reference, but it's what I'm going for.
Like a shoebill or a kookaburra?
Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree.
Yeah, more like a
Shoe-
kookaburra.
shoe-
More like a kookaburra
wow.
than a shoebill. There's a big T-Rex skull hanging from the ceiling. And
Sick.
there are several other just sort of like organic samples all over the place. There is a strong scent of cinnamon in the room. As you can also see, some of these tables you see one that is particularly held within a wall of force that has sort of like sporadic magic happening inside of it. Like she has a wild magic sample in there. There's another wall of force cage that has what looks like sort of an overgrowing fey urn that just has these like purple vines growing out of it and these little like will-o-wisps floating in it. Her space is just littered with work, basically. And you can see like she's just sitting at her desk. She has this really high, comfy chair that has like plush all over it. That goes way above her head as she's just sort of sitting there, her head on the in her chin in her palm on the table, looking a little bored actually, as she's just sort of scribbling on a notebook, like looking like she's in an intellectual rut, which may be why she's inviting you in to break up her day. And she looks up, and just to remind you all, she has that that hex blood aesthetic where she has sort of the almost like a humanoid hag, a hag that's not fully hagged, as she just sort of looks up and her eyes get a little bit brighter as she opens them. They've got that black sclera with the red irises. Just, oh, the emergency. Come on in, come on in. Come. What do you need?
Professor Valentine, we've come to you in seek of guidance for matters of the soul. Our friend, he's in a bit of a predicament, a body swap, if you will.
And she looks at you as you say these things as if they're normal. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just pulling up the academic faculty to pull her character info up. She looks at you and cocks her head. Body swap? What exactly is wrong? Did you bring Septimus's body, by the way?
Yeah, for sure.
And she looks at Septimus's body.
It would be like wrapped up, you know,
Yeah,
like maybe a hole for the mouth, you know, but
he is
He said he
breathing.
was breathing, so he's not dead.
yeah, but you know, people carrying around a body is a little suspicious, especially
Yeah.
through a school.
She looks at you and goes, what's wrong with him? You said this was a matter of life and death. He looks to be breathing.
His soul appears to not have made it back to the appropriate destination.
So his soul left his body? He died?
Big time.
Oh,
Sword to the back, you know.
And she rushes over to the body, and she grabs a few tools. First thing she grabs is this thing that looks like a sextant, that she starts to look at his body through as she starts to adjust settings on it. No. Oh. His
What is it?
Well, there's an aura of fiendish magic around his body right now. I was expecting Faye, and then she kind of sits up and like is still holding the sextant over her eyes, and then she quickly turns something and looks right at you, Sass. Oh, there's the Faye. And fiendish.
What?
Just hold. Everyone hold still.
Please, no paparazzi. Not right now. My heart still aches for our loss.
She puts the planar sextant away. Well, who resurrected him?
We brought him to the Temple of the Everflame, and the priests there helped.
Oh, that would explain the fiendish energy. I'd expect to see some celestial mingled in, if that was the case.
Septimus mentioned a wayward encounter with another fiend.
Oh, yes. The research shows often those who are resurrected do have these experiences on their pathway down the ethereal byway back to their bodies. Anything that catches them on that track can usually interfere in some way, but not usually this intensely. Usually the god that is granting this resurrection or whatever magic will protect them. But I suppose if he was not a worshipper of the Everflame, or if whoever interfered was powerful enough, it could have botched it.
Want to know is it possible to put his soul back into his body? Because you can see.
Where's his soul? Do you know where it is?
Tap Septimus on the chest. South.
That's what you meant by body swap. Well, that actually makes this a much more... you're in better shape than if his soul was jettisoned back into the void. Or returned to wherever he was destined. This actually makes it still complicated, but a lot more simple.
What do we need to do?
Well, a gifted naturalist could extract the soul and place it back in its original vessel, so to speak. Yeah, I think that's something that, if you provided the appropriate materials, we could figure out here at the university. To be frank, it would require a 6th level spell, 500 silver vessel, gem of some sorts, or an urn. It's very simple spell for a gifted enough naturalist. Extract his soul into the jar, empty it into his body.
All right. Just any infusions with the silver, or just pure silver? Specific gem.
And she
Cage?
holds her hand out, and a book flies from the second floor mezzanine into her hand. She runs her hand over and it opens up very quickly. And she just turns it around and drops it on the table in front of her and points to it. And you can see the arcana, the arcane equations for a particular spell. Specifically the magic jar. Mm-hmm. Well, this spell should do it, but we just need materials.
Are these materials accessible? If we have money, if that helps. If you have it, we want to get this done as quickly as possible.
And she looks up to Sal and sort of squints. Are you ready to be jettisoned back into your body?
He'll write quickly, or just write, is the transfer guaranteed? Question mark. Then erase. Does my body need to be accommodated somehow to prevent?
Well, I suppose it depends upon what exactly happens to disrupt the resurrection.
And as he writes that, he'll point to Bruce. Kind of like what you were hypothesized.
So I think what Septimus is, Septimus is trying to say, part of the theory of why I was thinking that Septimus' soul didn't go back to his body, instead went to the robot's body, is not because of the fiendish energy, but Septimus is a worshiper of Machina, as you might be able to tell. I was thinking that maybe his current vessel may not be machine enough. Is it possible that the body and soul, the soul won't always go back to the body if it doesn't deem it acceptable?
Curious hypothesis. I mean, I've heard the rumors, of course, that Septimus here is a worshipper of the wisps of Machina. Of course, someone walks around with a Machina, everyone assumes. A new faith, many skeptical of it. It would be the first of such a happening. Be very curious, actually. Perhaps we should set up some planar sextants and recording device, and should get some graduates in here. Oh, we could invite the whole department.
Well, hold on a moment.
Could publish it.
Wait, no. He's not meant to be your experiment.
It's better her experiment than ours.
The very first soul exchange of a Machina's whisper worshipper. Oh, if you allow me to do this my way, then I'll provide the materials. You won't have to spend a penny.
Septimus, what do you want? We were all set to go home, to your home, half an hour ago.
They'll be quiet for a second and think. Well, when you say when you said that you're gonna do it yourself and invite people, is that something that be in a couple days? Set up?
It would be the kind of thing that would require some time. She wouldn't be doing it today. It would take at least a day or two to gather the right people.
I'll just write. Pay her now, so we can leave, potentially, or hopefully.
Wait, so you want her to do?
Tell me,
I'm saying, like, if this is the best shot we have, and we have what we can give her, let her try it.
Professor
She's giving us two
Valentine.
options to do it right now, or and do
We pay
or
the monetary amount you do it right now, or she fronts the cost, and we have to wait a couple days for her to
I see.
tell
Right.
her
Yep.
academics and everybody
Yeah.
to set
I
up a gallery to show everybody the spectacle.
Got it.
It's not she doesn't say this because you didn't say that out loud. But yeah, I mean, it is absolutely partially a spectacle, but it also would be an academic magical surgery, essentially.
I'm thinking about the old surgery galleries that they used to have.
100% what it would be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No,
Professor,
no
this
junior mints allowed.
this this procedure needs to be done as quickly as possible. There are other circumstances that prevent us from waiting.
Okay, well, and she looks to Sal. Do you at the very least allow me to do a audio recording?
We will nod his head at that.
All right, then. Well, since you're allowing me to do some research with this, then I can provide some of the silver cost for the vessel.
Do you have a vessel here, or do we need to run out and find one? Because I got silver right here.
No. I can. If you provide me with the silver, I can pick one of the university's vessels that we keep in storage for research.
I provide the silver plus minus the discount, whatever
Yeah,
that is.
she hands you back 200 silver, so she only takes 300 silver. Well, I'll get the room ready. I have to make sure I can reserve it. Hopefully no one else is doing any active experiments today in the facility. I will need to invite a secondary assistant for this, if you're okay with that. I don't know if you need privacy here, but...
Just quick curiosity, who is this assistant? Not Cadmus, right?
No. Cadmus is a specialist in celestial mechanics. He's no idea anything about biology.
Never mind. I, for some reason, wrote in my stupid notes that he was in naturalism, so never mind.
He is, but he's like a physicist, whereas, she's more of a biologist.
Got it.
No, this would not be Professor Cadmus. This would be one of our professors from the medicine school within the college. All right. Well, I'll go check on our space. You can meet me, and it'll probably take me about 20 minutes to get everything ready. I'll send someone for you. And you see she's like excited. Like inappropriately excited. She's
Makes sense.
wandering around her room right now, just kind of like grabbing scrolls and books and things. And she kind of disappears behind the chair is another door. She just disappears back there into another room. You're left alone in her office for a few moments.
While we're sitting there,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna cast detect magic.
Curiosity.
So I want you to describe every magic item in her room. Actually, no, you really don't need to do that. I was just messing around with you.
Do you actually cast detect magic?
I was half kidding, but also I'm like curious to like what. I'm not looking for anything particular. Just to be in awe of like, oh wow, everything she has in here is like filled.
Yeah. So as soon as you cast it,
explodes, you die.
Everything explodes.
Too much magic.
Too much magic. Yeah. You just have a brain aneurysm. No. The spell doesn't go off. The magic immediately gets sucked out of the reagents for it. You can see this. It just goes with like almost like a whistling sound. It gets sucked into a cuckoo clock that's against the wall, and the cuckoo bird goes out and just yeah, exactly, and just as it sucks in the magic. This seems to be her warded cuckoo clock that prevents
Oh my god, I love it.
anyone from casting magic here unless they're like approved by her. Basically, the wards from Valheim.
Sucks
I
to
love
suck. As Jacquetta is
That's really
gonna go up to her desk and just quickly glance at any paperwork she has, look for
Mhm.
handwriting.
Yep.
You never know.
Yeah. I mean, there's paperwork scattered all over. She is clearly like a messy scientist, as opposed to someone who keeps everything nice and neat. There's scribbles everywhere. She is a doodler, for sure. You see little drawings of animals, drawings of dinosaurs. You see a little drawing of Silren that she's made in here, and then little notes. Like she'll have like complex magical equations for a spell, and then right next to it would be like her grocery list. But there is plenty of writing for you to kind of sample on that desk.
Thank you.
But it wouldn't be, well, it would be, you'd be waiting here for like 20, 25 minutes. And actually it starts to get closer to a half hour. Suddenly gets closer to 40 minutes. You start to get maybe impatient. She said she'd be right back. We approach an hour. And it's not until an hour and 15 minutes later that she finally comes back. And you can see she is, looks like her clothing is all completely different. She's now in basically like specialized robes that look like essentially a surgeon's outfit. It's white, all white. It's all of her. She has these special gloves on. They're not like plastic gloves. They're like clearly like meant to be part of some magical aspect to this. They are tight like real life plastic gloves, but they have sort of woven into them different runes. And behind her walks in this really tall, gangly man. He looks like a human. He's probably like 6'6", and like really thin, but he also has a beer belly. So it's sort of this. He's awkwardly shaped man. He has really a mess of curly hair up on the top, and then he has it's all like this deep dark black, and he has a black scruffy mustache on as well, with pretty robust sideburns coming down, with like some 5 o'clock shadow mingled beneath the mustache. He looks really tired. Like his eyelids are all red. His skin looks dry and wrinkly. Like really like just like a busted up dude. Who is just sort of looks lazily, his hands in his pockets of his lab coat that he has on, as he just sort of looks around and immediately takes out a cigarette and lights it and just looks around. These are the
Mage
people.
Hands just moves his hand and it mage hands and knocks the cigarette out and goes, "Please, not indoors. Disgusting habit."
Disgusting habit, he says. He does not know me. And he takes out another cigarette and goes to light it.
Jacquette will try to mage hand out the match.
Stop.
Like,
And he like grabs it. I like grabs the end of the match from your mage hand. It's like, yeah. If I do surgery better when I've had a smoke. And she looks at him like, just this one time. You can do it.
Septimus dies because of this.
Everybody, this is the our best surgeon here at the academy. He's a bit rough around the edges, right? And this man just sort of looks and just starts to like kind of curse under his breath a little bit. But he'll be assisting me on this process. He is very precise. He's skilled in both. biological surgery and magical surgery.
And what's his name?
Oh, this is Dr. Artan. We are doing experimental surgery on this one. As he goes up and starts poking Septimus's lifeless body. Yeah, okay. And just starts to like look really close at him and just sort of constantly sniffing and kind of like he has this habit of like moving his lips in a way that makes his mustache almost wiggle back and forth like a cartoon character. He's just okay. All right. And he takes out a little thing from his pocket. Just sort of, you see, he looks at you all and then like turns himself over, and you just hear a loud snort from the other side as he says, "Are we ready to begin? Do we bring the patient into the next
Did you
room?"
just do cocaine? Did you just bump a line?
I took my medicine.
Oh, okay.
It helps with the surgery.
Yes. Bruce does it, but with lollipops.
Huh.
Yeah, I get
This,
it.
this guy is just like through and through like a late 19th century surgeon who is just sort of like, I don't know enough about the body. Let's drain some humors, figure this out, cut into you, find the phlegm, get it out of there, put some leeches on. We'll be fine. Just through and through.
Fearn is still poisoned, and even though he's very concerned, he's still completely checked out of this whole situation.
There's a moment where the doctor does look at you, Fearn, for a moment, and he goes,
I just got my hands on my head like this, like, oh.
He reaches into his lab coat and he just pulls out a little like a vial with like a clear liquid in it. Drink this.
I immediately drink it, like no questions asked.
It tastes horrible, like the most putrid chemical taste ever. But you start to feel better immediately.
Ugh. What was that?
It is rough going down, but if you are sick from a bad potion, as it looks like you are, clean you right up. There are some side effects. You might develop kidney stones. You might there might be a little bit of blood in your urine, but you'll be okay. And he slaps you on the cheek and goes over. He puts his hands and says, "Can someone pick up this body and bring it to the lab?"
I can't.
Sept will lift up his own body and follow him to wherever he instructs him to bring it.
Right to the back here. And Aoife looks at you all and says, "You're welcome to join. Observe if you wish."
I'll wait out here.
I want to go in.
I'll watch. I was always a fan of the spectacles at university.
I'll go too.
All right. Well, right to the back here. You can sit in the seating above. And you go in, and there is sort of this high seating, like you'd imagine from the gallery surgery rooms. And you can go up and sit there as they have this sort of clean space in the middle. Sal puts the body on a table, and then the good doctor gestures to Sal to lay on the table, the other table there. And you see Silrin goes over, and she waves her hands, and you see this wax cartridge floats up into the air. And she holds her finger up and she mutters some words under her breath, and the point of her finger starts to light up as if it's on fire. And then you see this wax cylinder starts to turn in the air and starts to burn into it the recording, as she would be going through it and basically narrating every single thing that they do. As you would see, they start to prepare. And it's pretty straightforward. They take out this this silver urn that they place in the middle between the two on a little table. And then she starts to sort of cast magic into the urn while the doctor is looking over, and he's just sort of like looking at at Sal's body. He's like, never extracted a soul from a construct. He knocks on the chest a few times in the same way Sass did earlier. I think we can get through that magically, unless there's any wards built in. All right.
I stopped channeling my protection from evil and good, if that was an issue.
Septimus, from within Sal's body, you would kind of feel all of this as they
before they begin the
Mhm.
surgery and during, he's just going to be meditating and praying in his head just to Machina, doing whatever worship that he needs to. It's like, please, oh Machina, guide me back to my true form. If I do not belong here, this is not my vessel. Help me.
Okay, then. Dr. Artan goes over to a little tray on a table against the wall, and those of you up in the booth can see, like, there's a whole suite of surgery tools here, like scalpels. There's a butcher knife there. There's a hacksaw. So there's the precise stuff, and then there's the big stuff. But he reaches for a different section where he actually pulls up a wand. And he goes over to Septimus's body and starts to sort of slowly cast different runes into the air over his body. And slowly starts to sort of weave them together as Aoife is narrating, like, Dr. Artan now is applying the focusing runes to attach onto the wayward soul, to extract it into the magic jar. Dr. Artan has successfully extracted the soul, and that's when you can see he is almost like puts the wand in the middle of where these runes are and starts to like spin it, and you can see almost like a cotton candy machine, or almost just like threads coming off of the runes. It's almost like it's weaving the soul out of the body and onto a strand on the wand. As he lifts it up, he's like, oh. And Septimus, while this is happening, it's a little scary because you can feel yourself fading, where it's almost like falling asleep, except you're feeling more and more spread out, like you originally felt when you first were moving through the ethereal plane, but you're essentially falling asleep. And as soon as he extracts the last bit of your soul, it would all go black for you. And you'd be in a state of oblivion for a moment. We have extracted this soul. And
just from the background, you hear clapping from Jacquet. Good job.
I would reach, after you're done clapping, I would reach over Jacquet and just hold your hand nervously. Without even thinking about it. You're just the closest person to me. Just squeeze it nervously.
Bruce just has a lollipop in his mouth and is staring intensely.
It'll be fine. It's the best surgeon, right? And it's a dean.
Aoife would continue to narrate and add context for the recording. We were able to successfully extract the soul. It looks to be in good health. There are some fracturings on it, it looks like. Disconnections. It's not quite whole. There are pieces that don't look right. Possible theories. Augmentation of the Ullman body. Fractured the soul in some way. Perhaps evidence in favor of Machina's Whispers theories. The machine was able to harbor a soul. For the recording, we must look deeper into this. The effects of augmentation with Machina to the body. Where is this? Where is it gone? We can't Terry, we must move on to the next part of the procedure. As you can see, as you would understand from this recording, this is the most dangerous portion of this surgery. If the soul were to be lost in some way, it would not be jettisoned back into the body before going into the jar. The soul would be lost to the ethereal plane, potentially, in hopes that it would go where it belongs in the afterlife, but we could not possibly know. As she...
Squeeze your hand harder. Shut quit.
It's fine, best surgeon, right? Right?
Bruce is now daydreaming about, not daydreaming, but thinking about what Fearon said about, oh, maybe we should look into the demon book.
Fearn is outside in the waiting room banging on some sort of arcane vending machine that stole his silver.
As Aoife would sort of like come over and help Dr. Artan with it, and you can see like he is holding it and it looks precarious as fuck. Like it looks like just sort of like loose wispy threads on this wand that don't look like they're being held by anything. It looks like at any point they could just disappear, slip off, evaporate into space, as he's just sort of like looking at it way too long too. Curious, Dr. Dean Valentine, look here, you can see the fracturing there. Perhaps she correlating with the this part. And like there's just getting more and more nervous as he's not putting it in the jar that they have guided it over to. Before finally he drops the tip of it into the jar and the soul gets sucked into the jar. As Dr. Artan puts his hands up. A successful extraction of the soul. It is safely in the jar now. We must monitor to ensure the attunement to the rightful body. And then,
Did you send Persco his new character sheet? He's just a jar.
Yeah, it's...
Guys, it's dark in here.
I will say, Mike, though, this is when Septimus would come back to... He would no longer be in the oblivion state.
Oh, God.
You can feel yourself trapped in a jar, though.
Oh, okay.
You are no longer in Sal's body. You are...
To give me you're in you're shrunk down in a jar. Sitting across from you is Roland with his legs across. Quite the predicament you got yourself in.
Let's hope you can get out of this jar.
Is there a Pikachu in there?
I see you're awake.
Oh, you finally awoken. So, the only action you are conscious. The only action you can take is to protect your soul. And like technically, you probably don't really know this, but you could start trying to possess other people right now, technically, based on the magic jar spell. Although this is a variation of it, because normally it's a self-cast, not something you can cast in someone else. That's a different spell. So they then look and go to the next stage, where you hear them debating a little bit. You hear Dr. Artan be like, why don't we just simply smash the jar now? If the science is correct, his soul will return to his rightful body. And Aoife's like, I don't know, I'm not so sure about that, though. There's extraordinary circumstances here. An extraction would do. It's why I brought you in here. And like this is when you see Dr. Artan picks the silver jar urn up and just starts to like handle it way too recklessly as he sort of tosses it up in the air and catches it again. And Aoife like kind of like goes and like lifts it up and is like, Dr. Artan, understand that I can take the funding away from your research, extract the soul. It would be easier to smash the urn. I guess you pull the strings, Madame Valentine. So he goes and starts to do the exact same sort of ritual to the jar, creates the anchor points to then weave the soul out of the jar. Once again, Septimus Once again, Septimus, you go into an oblivion state as your soul is extracted from the jar. Okay, well, we will now attempt to place the soul into the body of the patient. Extraction easier than installment. Requires a bit of balancing of the natural state of the body. This body augmented could cause complications, potentially the original cause of the misaligned resurrection. But there we go. And the different pieces are all there to weave the soul in. Septimus, you slowly start to feel your conscious state returning. You come out of that oblivion state, like you're waking from a dream, groggy. And slowly, you flutter your eyes and open them up, and you look up at a mustached man and Aoife Valentine over your body. You are extremely exhausted. You have a -4 penalty to all attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks. You every single time you take a long rest, it reduces that penalty by 1 until it disappears.
Yikes.
The full effects of Raised Dead are now upon you. But you open your eyes and you are back in your body. Dr. Artan looks at you and goes,
God.
and you are the Septimus, correct? You are the right person in the body?
Oh,
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yes. You'll need 4 days rest. Don't lift anything heavy. Make sure that your diet is mostly fluids. You'll be a tip-top shape. And he like smacks your shoulder, and then turns and looks to the gallery where you all are. And goes, the surgery was a success.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yay!
Thank goodness.
thank you.
Well, you're just doing your job, so good job.
And Aoife, you can see, is immediately looking at Septimus with a planar sextant to kind of align and look at him, make sure his humors are all in balance. She, for the recording, last entry for the recording, patient's body still lingering with fiendish energy. She adjusts the sextant. Another aura exists upon the body, but this one is unclassified. Possible substance associated with Machina's worship. Further research needed. This ends the soul surgery of Septimus Evergreen. And then the wax cylinder stops spinning in the air, and she grabs it into her hand. And looks up to you all and says, "You may come down to help your friend now."
Comes down.
Septimus will
Bolt
look
down
up to
too.
Sal. Just be like, I'm glad we resolved that.
Sal sits up on the table and just starts to like stretch his fingers and move just to like feel not trapped inside himself.
Yeah.
Dr. Artan lights up a cigarette in the corner. He starts cursing in a language you don't know and walks out of the room.
I look at Aoife and just thank you. Thank you very much. I know that we came quite unexpectedly and didn't have an expectation.
Yes.
just a hope that you would help. And thank you.
Well, I appreciate the unexpected research that will come of this. I needed a break, honestly. I was getting quite blocked up in my research of other things. Well, your friend is safe now. Like Dr. Artan said, you'll need to rest, but the effects of a raised dead spell have their toll on the body and the spirit. I don't believe the clergy likely told you this, because they like to keep it from people, but resurrections do tarry the soul. You are thinner than you were before, in your soul.
Thought it looked like he lost weight.
There is evidence of fracturing on your soul, which I theorize has more to do with your augmentations than the resurrection. But the more and more you're resurrected, the less and less you're capable of coming back. It's just something that you need to know.
I understand. I hopefully don't find myself in a situation like that again.
And she looks at you very seriously and says, there are people who have been far too resurrected. When they come back, too much of them is gone. It's not a state I would like anyone to be in. It's something to be aware of if you find yourself on the other side again. You may want to choose to stay. But I have to go now. I seem to have forgotten I had dinner arrangements with Dean Chevalier that I am now late to. I'm sorry, I really must go.
Thank you again. Thank you. Septimus, let's go get you settled to rest.
And she just like very hastily like shakes your hands and like at the same time trying to like take off her lab coat and stuff and be like, I really must go. And rushes out the door.
So glad we were able to settle that here.
Hey.
But I do think we should leave.
Now?
You
need
can
to
barely walk.
Yeah, no. Why
No,
don't
I'm fine.
no, you're not.
As he struggles to kind of get up.
I place
we
a
have-
hand on your shoulder.
You can rest in the carriage.
We have the cart, yes.
I think it is wise for us to leave the city for the time being.
Can we at least wait a night and leave in the morning?
No, I don't understand why. We should just get out of here.
Why?
Not safe here.
Fiona comes in when the doctor comes out, hearing the good news, and just, joins the conversation.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think we should probably skip town. Play on the safe side.
Please, if one of you drive the carriage, I'll just rest in the back. Sal could be able to manage that, but...
Is that going to be enough rest, though, Septimus? It's going to be awfully jerky.
I have an idea of somewhere we could stay off the side of the road.
We at least get to Fairhold?
Even.
What was it?
No. Fairhold.
It is
God,
Fairhold.
don't
You got
do
it
that
right.
to me. Come on, you know how bad I am at this. We'll at least get to Fairhold and spend the night there, but just some distance out of this place.
You mean Fairfield?
Did I come back in a different reality?
You're in Connecticut.
Worst reality.
So not only do we lose the De Leon's, word's gonna spread that Iron and Man is not as strong as they were. It's a mark on our head. But on top of it, as I said before, I spoke with Roland. And then being face to face with him, being in his realm, It makes sense now. It's a devil. It's Ro. One that they follow at the revelry. They're one and the same. They don't realize that they're worshipping a damn devil.
Okay, Septimus. All right. Can I ask that we'll go tonight, but can I make one quick stop before we go?
Sure, it'll take time to ready the carriage anyways. Do what you need to do, and once you return, we'll leave the city.
Okay. Where do we have the cart?
The chalice.
That's chalice.
Chalice. All right. I'll meet you there.
The Shalas.
The chalice.
Mhm.
I won't be long. I promise.
Okay. Where are you going, Sass?
I would like to head back to the temple court.
Mhm.
And once I'm there, I want to kind of like open my mind, my senses to where she wants me to drink from next.
Oh, you get a very, very clear indicator. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The as it's called. Once I find that note of what it is called, but the Elemental Temple. You're called to the pool in the Elemental Temple where elemental spirits rest, but also Michael Udon in the baths there with the animals.
Dang, I'm fucking too fast
The
again.
one with the friendly tiefling church guy.
Yep, their
priest.
friendly tiefling friend.
God, why do I keep doing this to myself? What the hell's wrong with me?
As I'm walking towards there, just I'm walking briskly and kind of just like muttering under my breath to myself and to her, just saying like, it's time to be stronger. We need it. We're fracturing, and we need to be stronger. So I will make my way over there.
So it's about at this point it's approaching early night. So it's pretty dark out considering it's winter and the eclipse is up. So it's getting to this dusk with a little bit of orange in the sky. As you go into the temple court, just like before, there's not a ton of people there, but there are worshippers. Some people look to you and see you, recognize you from earlier, recognize who you are. But you can make a straight line towards the temple of the kindred of the mother, which is nestled in the basalt cliffs in their caves.
That is where I would like to go.
How would you like to approach this?
I will, my pace is quick, but as soon as, it comes within eyesight, I'll slow down a little bit. And approach respectfully and kind of like wait to see if the little lights do anything. And take my cue from them.
So as you get there, it is there are the little wisps within the little holdings in the walls, little tiny jars or pools or caverns in the wall. You can see they do kind of float around. You can see all the animals there as well. They seem to have come here to rest. Some of the wisps are in the water itself. You do see the tiefling is there wandering about, almost like he's going to each of these little cairns or caverns or cavities in the wall where the wisps are. And like it looks almost like he's a hotel concierge checking on every guest. As he just goes up to it and he kind of like almost like listens to it, like he's listening for a whisper, and then just sort of like offers a head nod and a prayer to them as he's just tending to each one.
So
As you
I'll
can see a
just-
big capybara staring at you from one of the pools.
Without taking my eyes off the capybara, say, hello, good evening. I hope I'm not intruding. I'll only be a moment.
Makes no noise and just stares at you.
I wasn't talking to the capybara. I was talking to the tiefling.
Oh, I thought you were talking to the capybara.
No, sorry. No, I'm looking at the capybara, but my words are directed towards.
I see.
The
I see. Yeah.
tiefling.
Yeah. He looks to you, and it's like from a distance. He looks at you, and he just stops for a moment and cocks his head, but then returns to normal and says, "Fair enough. All are welcome in the cabins of the mother."
I'll be very quick. I won't disturb you or anyone here. I just felt a pull to come here.
Or those in search of respite, whose bodies or souls are weary, will find kindness and warmth in the waters.
Appreciate that.
He looks away and he steps into one of the pools and is going up to the walls where some of the wisps are, and he's holding a hand out. A wisp flies around it and lands in his palm before kind of vanishing. And he just continues to tend to his garden of spirits, essentially.
Is there a particular place in this temple? Like, is she pointing me towards any particular pool, any particular cavern?
Yes, you're drawn to a pool that has a water trickling down the stone into the pool. That's a little bit more flowing, where the other ones are more still. And you feel thirst. Uncontrollable thirst.
All right. Okay, you made your fucking point. I'd like to be a little bit respectful of this place. I'll go forward and dip my hands in, make a little cup.
When you dip your hands in, there's sort of an unnatural ripple that goes across it, the pool. And you look at the water in your palm, and again, you feel that uncontrollable thirst. Your mouth is dry as sand right now.
Okay, all right. Okay. Drink it.
It's not enough.
Fuck. I don't want to drain this whole pool. Just one more. I'll dip in. One more.
It's not enough.
Oh, God.
Submerge yourself.
What?
Submerge. Gorge.
I can only handle so much.
Drink
I did.
more.
I'll just like shove my head into the pool and take a big drink.
As you do this, you feel that, if you've like been running all day and you're sweaty and you go to have that first glass of water and it just goes down so easy. It's going down so easy. You're just gulping it down. And then you kind of like bring your head up once you need a second, even though technically you can breathe underwater.
It's a bit.
It's not comfortable though.
A lot. It's not.
You can breathe underwater, but it's not comfortable. You bring your head up and like you wipe the water from your mouth, and the water is completely glowing now, a bright green light. The wisps are all fluttering around in a panic, as they're circling around this whole chamber like someone just busted open a hornet's nest, and they're just as he's rushing about trying to help these spirits, these wandering spirits who've had their respite completely disturbed, and the warmth of this place seems drained as you feel cold. The lights are all out. The space is lit by this haunting green light now.
It's not what I wanted to do. It's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to disturb this place.
What have you done?
Nothing.
What have you done?
Nothing. I just needed a drink. That's all. Just a drink. I didn't mean any harm.
You drained the warmth and life from these pools.
What?
The spirits.
No.
Can't tend to them anymore. Get out. Now. You've corrupted this place with foul energies.
What did you do? What did you do?
You've put rot in this water.
No, it wasn't me. No, I didn't.
Get out.
Okay, all right. I leave. I'm sorry. As soon as I'm out. The fuck did you make me do?
You can see
It's not what I wanted.
following you out, almost like they're fleeing the chamber, as all of these wisps are leaving, going out into the sea, to the mountains, to the forests.
That was a wicked thing you did.
That I did?
Yes, you did. You made me drink it. You wouldn't have let me leave if I didn't drink it. What did you have to go and disturb them all for?
Your steps brought you here. I only gave you a little push.
That's your fucking fault. You are responsible for
Stop.
For
Stop. Feel. Open your mind to the power that
Can
we
I
now
rescue them?
possess. Stop. You are not opening your mind. Buzz. Chair. Your fingertips start to tingle.
You disturbed them. You didn't have to do that. You just needed whatever you were just thirsty. How do I get them back? How do I make that right?
The voice goes away.
Oh, fuck you.
But you do feel electric. There's this cognitive dissonance happening as you are feeling the shame of what you just did, but also at the same time, like, overwhelming, like, energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just down 20 coffees. Like, you feel alive, electric.
Buzzing.
Your fingertips,
Yep.
like there's so much power coursing through you right now.
I will start. I'll start walking back to the Harlequin and Chalice, and then, like, as I'm walking out of the Temple District, I'll just start running, jogging, and then running, and then sprinting, just trying to, like, let that energy out.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, you find yourself losing control of it as you're running, and you find yourself step. Suddenly, you didn't even realize that you have levitated yourself, and you're running in the air now, and running across nothingness as you just see underneath each of your footsteps in the air is this little aurora light that is lifting you up, and you're now in the sky running, and you feel alive and electric, the wind blowing through your hair as you're just lose focus, and you're just running. And this energy is overwhelming you. For a moment, then you just let go. You're just free floating in the air, as if the sky is the ocean.
What is this? This isn't the water. If I were to like kind of like reach up and like towards clouds, would like anything happen? Would I be able to like channel some of the energy up into the clouds to like just try and let some of it out?
Yeah, you could. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
You reach your hand up, and an eldritch blast unconsciously shoots out of your hand and into the cloud, and then you can see all these clouds just start to form, these dark clouds, as you've accidentally created a storm. As you just see, you hear thunder, and then flashes of lightning within these clouds. As a rapid storm just appears over all of Hyven.
Fuck. Okay. I want to get down now.
You start to hear waves crashing heavily against the piers and the docks in the harbor, as the storm now that you've accidentally summoned here is starting to churn the sea of the bay.
Stop.
Almost like all of
Stop.
that energy has now been exerted out of your body, and this is her now in her own state of mania, disconnected from you, her now expressing this power that you've triggered. And you start to slowly float back down to the streets. As you hear commotion throughout the town as people rapidly prepare for the storm.
You're gonna have to give me fucking notes or something. I can't just create dissonance for people. I want to help. Fucking warn me. I'll start walking towards the Harlequin and Chalice.
Back at the Harlequin and Chalice, you see a rapid storm approach, and the horses are really freaked out by it. But you're able to get the carriage ready to go. And Sass would return.
Drenched in rainwater and elemental water and just all sorts of water.
Just in
I'm
time.
glowing.
Starting to get. Oh, that's because you don't have your eye patch on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gonna take some getting used to. You're just in time. We should probably try to set out now. Maybe we can get ahead of the rain.
Yeah.
God. So, take the carriage.
I've driven
Yeah.
it before, right? I can.
Yeah, you can help.
Sit up there with him.
Yeah.
Septimus will lie just horizontal in the back.
The carriage
As
sets
opposed
off. Yeah. Carriage sets off through the town as you leave out the front road, the northwest road, to head to Fairholt. You'll get there pretty late, but you will be able to get there. Road is relatively safe this close to Hyven, so there's not really any concerns about bandits or anything, although it is getting quite rough with the storm, but it is sort of chasing you at your heels, so it never gets too bad while you're on the road. You just feel the kind of intense wind and occasional drizzle of rain and hear the cracks of thunder behind you, as if the storm is slowly following you. Before long, you reach Fairholt. Dim torchlights around the fairgrounds. Few vendors still open for the late night crowd. No performances. No one sitting around the stage. Everyone's holed up in their tents here. You can settle there for the evening.
Sean, when we get there, I'm gonna cast Galder's Tower. Take 10 minutes, and I am going to make a little 2-story building for us to sleep in for the night. So Bruce is going to take out a wooden little miniature that he has of like a little 2-story building that he just kind of carved out of wood. And he's gonna lay it in like a little area that that, and he's gonna just like trace. He's just gonna put it in the middle, and he's gonna walk around the outside in a square fashion.
Yeah.
And you're gonna slowly just see this thing fade into existence. Yeah, the first floor is just going to be a bedroom with a bed, chairs, chest, and a magical fireplace, and the second floor will be just like a washroom.
Okay, I love
It'll
it.
be very very elegant.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Does it
But-
have the Koboko logo splattered on the side?
Oh yeah, of course. On the inside and outside.
Boboko Tower.
Capsule Corp.
It
Excellent.
actually even has like a little flag at the top,
Yeah.
and it just says Koboko, and it's just you can't see it right now because it's nighttime. But
Yeah,
in the morning,
yeah. I love it. It does call a little bit of attention to you all, as some people will kind of like peek out their tents to be like, "What the fuck?" But generally, yeah, you've got a nice. You don't have to sleep in your tents or in the cart. There is a nice, lovely little shared bedroom area where you can. You got a magical fireplace. It's very comfortable in there, I imagine. Nicer than your rooms at the Harlequin and Chalice.
Well, Bruce, this is something else, huh? Oh, crackling fire. Beautiful. I love it.
Ah, good. I'm glad you do. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, oh, why don't I just do this? And yeah, we used to do this at Kobuk all the time.
Yeah, you would just make little houses.
Yeah, I needed a little bit of a certain material to get it done, and yeah, it's a construction company. Of course, we made houses.
Oh, okay, that actually makes sense to me.
Don't care about
So-
how it works. Just enjoy it.
Yeah, magic, right? So that bed.
Yeah, it's all yours.
I think Septimus should have it.
What? Shotgun is like mid-air and goes like, "Aw."
I mean, Septimus has been asleep at this the whole time. He's passed out of the back of the cart, so you could just leave him there potentially, unless
Oh,
you tell Sal to
you
pick him
need
up and
to
bring him inside.
rest. Yeah.
I am
No,
resting.
don't wake him up.
Sal.
Don't wake him up. He's already asleep. You know, it's like when you have kids, you want to leave them in the carriage, because if you bring them in, they might start crying and wake them up.
Too real.
So,
Jack, what? Didn't you check me upstairs?
no, what's upstairs? And Jacques went,
Why don't you go check it out? Yeah,
Goes
Sal, bring him in. Sal, bring him in.
oh,
Yeah.
bathtub. Fantastic.
As Sal rushes out and brings Septimus inside. Septimus, you're so exhausted that you stay down. And yeah, you can all find a place to rest in this magic tower.
Fiona probably would just be quiet the whole ride up, looking back the whole time, and even when he gets to the tower, maybe just like takes a quick glance and then sits by the windowsill and looks out, back towards Hyven, without saying anything to anyone.
Absolutely. It's extremely late when you guys get here, so you would all be pretty tired, I imagine, especially after having a full fight earlier today.
He'd probably just fall asleep near the windowsill as well.
Yeah. But yeah, is there anything anyone would like to do this evening, or you all pass the fuck out?
I want to level up.
We lost.
If anything, we freaking lose a level.
Uh-oh.
That's something you can't do, so that was just a joke.
Yeah, right. Every battle you lose a level. No. Did you have something, Bruce? Looks like you're about to say something.
I was thinking about doing something. It could wait though. Whatever. Bruce will probably be the last one to go to bed, and he'll just probably like fall asleep eventually in the bathtub. I imagine, but a low amount of water, like he's not gonna drown. But I imagine he would bring his little black cube that was his grandfather's, and I
Mhm.
imagine he'd just be looking at it once more, and also just kind of rethinking the whole day, the whole morning, the whole fight, Septimus's death, and you know, and Jaquette's words of, you know, why are we still doing this? We're broken up, you know. The surgery, you know, everything, the whole day is a lot.
Yeah.
So just pondering life's decisions.
Yep. And as you're
staring at his grandfather's cube,
staring at this cube, thinking about all of these things, you know, not just the fight or how rough today was, but also just sort of the truly wild things you also learned today, like with firsthand experience of a resurrection now, a soul surgery, people talking very casually about etherealness, planes of existence, things that are not usually what is in the research department of a construction company. But it opens up an entire world of possibilities over what is inside this little black cube. And I think that's where we'll end tonight. Pick up next week as you all get to Septimus's homestead. Thank you, folks, for joining us in the world, on the internet. We're gonna send a raid over to Travis McElroy. Why not? He's streaming. And we'll see you all again in Paradise another night. Next Monday night, to be exact.
Bye.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Say it.
Bye.
Good night.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Sean said to say goodbye, everybody.